So what I'd like to reach into is what we call our operating system. And we believe that everybody has an operating system, whether it's defined or not. And what we try to do with our clients, and again, these are incredibly successful families in building their own enterprises. Very wealthy, very successful. But often the disciplines that grew the companies do not get in the car and drive home with them. So in a company, you have all these systems, processes, policies, and procedures. And what our goal is to just nudge them towards disciplines that they already have. They're just not practicing them with their family. And here's the first one, which is operating system. And here are the key anchors to the operating system: discovery, understanding, and planning. My attorney always says, Eric, you guys are just like me: discovery, understanding, and planning. How do you operate a family, let alone a family with the complexities of wealth, if you don't touch on those three things? Most of us in the family space go right to planning, especially mom and dad, because we know everything. We don't. We forget to ask the question. And that's what discovery is all about. It's asking why. It's being curious. So discovery is so important because that is where you unpeel the relational onion. So if you're a family member, which most of us are, and you're sitting with your mom or dad or grandparents or another sibling or a cousin, if you start asking them about their life and their experience and just sit back and say, would you like to say more? You are going to uncover a gold mine or a diamond mine of relational information with that family member. And your relationship will never be the same. Why? Because you took the time to do some discovery. If you're doing anything important in life, you don't just jump in and do it. Let's say you're going to invest $10,000 in the marketplace. You don't just go randomly throw $10,000 at a random number of stocks. Somebody, if not yourself, is studying how to best use that $10,000. What's happening in the market today? And we forget to do that relationally. And as a parent, I have learned not to answer my children's questions right away. I ask them to tell me more. Discovery. Discovery is very similar to curiosity, which is another tool we'll talk about at a later time. The second is understanding. If you just jump to understanding without first asking questions, you're not going to really understand. I can say, I've flown on private jets, and I can tell you which ones I really am impressed with. But if you don't ask me, well, why were you on it? If you don't ask me what impressed you about it, all these different details, you're never going to really know about that experience I had. So understanding is a lost art in our culture simply because we think we can Google it, AI it, or chat GTP it. But that doesn't work in relationships. And so we really work with our families to get them in the discovery mode, asking questions, because that directly leads to them having a better understanding of the person that's in their family. And in general, the family collectively. Now you actually understand the family environment because you've talked with enough family members to understand who they are. Remember, family is only a collective of individuals. And often, if you're wired like me, you think it's individual because you think it's all about you. And when you're in these wealthy family spaces, there are big kings and there are little kings. There are big queens and little queens all throughout these families of wealth. And I'm not saying they're not good people, but they don't have the collective understanding of the family. Once you do understanding that's backed up by discovery, now you're able to plan. And in our work, we typically are in a relationship 3 to 4 months before we actually get transitioned fully into the planning stage. And in our process, so it is discovery, understanding, planning. And in our 3 pillars, we have connection, education, and family governance. Well, what happens in most families of wealth, the professionals come to them and want to go right to family governance. How do you make the decisions? How do you answer the questions? How do you build the future? What they forget to do is actually know who the family is. And typically, what they're focused on is the person writing the checks. So if you have a couple, matriarch and patriarch, a lot of professionals will only seek the opinion of, let's just say that in this case, the patriarch. The patriarch's built the business. He controls everything. His signature's what everybody's looking for. His time is what everybody's looking for. And they forget to ask his wife what she feels, what she thinks, what's in her heart, what she feels best for the family. I'm not saying these people aren't good people. They're really good people. It's just how they're trained. Then you go to the next generation. How do you plan for a family's future if you don't know their children? How do you plan for a family's future if you don't know their grandchildren as they grow? And so in our space, this family operating system that we are suggesting and we encourage and we put structure to leads with discovery, finding out who people are, which naturally gives you a greater understanding, which then allows you to put all these plans together that actually fit who the family is. It is fascinating work. It's fulfilling work because when you see a plan come together, which by the way, changes with the generations, the whole family is all in. It's like a Super Bowl winning team. You do not win the Super Bowl if your team is not playing as a team. And our goal with the operating system is by the time the family gets to dialing in their family governance, which is estate planning, tax, and all these decision-making family policies, they actually can do it well, if not best, because the whole family has gone on that journey together. So just in quick recap, we have 3 main pieces of our operating system. It is the whole idea of discovery, which leads to understanding, which leads to effective planning for our clients. Great stuff. It's a journey, not a destination, but great stuff.